start. Let's start. Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Hopefully you all have been having a good day and continue to have a good time on stream. Welcome. Anyway. Hello, Five-Fist Office Survivor. Hello, Lexington Cannon. Welcome to the stream, both of you. For me, the day has been going... I mean, nothing much happened. Yesterday, I spent the majority of yesterday just, you know... what's it called? Yeah, just hanging out with Bestie or at his house. So that's what I dedicated my time to. Anyways, tomorrow should be a video going up. I won't say what it is, but it's gonna be entertaining. It's a very short one. I probably should have uploaded it like 3 days ago, but I got lazy with the editing again, so don't blame me. It barely makes it over like 8 minutes, but hey, keep an eye on that. Oh, bro. Anyways, it's that time again. Oh, do you mean Christmas Eve? Because yeah, it's Christmas Eve. So, happy holidays to everybody. If you celebrate Christmas, that is. I don't. Neither does my family. But hey, still, happy holidays. And happy Christmas Eve. Anyways, hello, Waves. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Hopefully you've been having a good day and continue to have a good time on the stream. Welcome. My luck is cursed. What happened? Anyways, for today, I forgot to log in on Limbus yesterday. So for today, we're gonna be doing the dailies and then moving on to... Ah, gotcha. That's your Discord account. Gotcha. Well, it's definitely interesting, let me just say. It is very much definitely interesting. Why, Ishmael? Why must you do this? Why, Ishmael? Why must you do this? Well then. Okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. Okay, I see. If it's unopposed, may as well start saving stuff.
이것밖에 못하나.
너도 누군가에겐 아껴졌겠지만.
Okay, that doesn't delay it. Gotcha. I don't know who said in my chat that that delays it, but it didn't. So, well.
받아볼 텐가. 하나 넘고, 둘 넘고.
You're off to an awesome start. Probably should have used the...
자세가 무너졌나?
I mean, no, I didn't even use the counter, so why am I saying it doesn't delay it? Maybe my mind's elsewhere, I don't know. But hello, Rory, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Hopefully you've been having a good day and continue to have a good time on stream. There we go, for my best.
이것밖에 못하나. 일기당천.
Finally. Something gets activated.
자세가 무너졌나?
올인이었나요?
Well then. Huh. Let us continue.
일기당천.
We should be getting the trailer to Canto 9 pretty soon, likely within the next day or two. I'm gonna gamble and see what I get. Well, you could save for upcoming Canto 9, but sure, buddy.
산코.
Good luck.
허술하군.
차라리.
I don't know why the screen goes dark even now. I have no clue.
전탄격발.
Literally have no clue as to why that happens.
마음 놓고 열어젖히고 총알값 아까울 놈은 아니군.
Hello, Patton, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Hopefully you've been having a good day. Continue to have a good time on stream. Welcome. Orange. Wait, why oranges?
일기당천.
What's Rodius doing?
목이 떨어질 수.
자세가 무너졌나?
3월. 앵화.
There we go. And since I don't really feel like doing what's it called?
도박장죄로 의뢰를 냈다 싶더니 이렇게
The threads, I'm just gonna skip it.
아,
Yes.
이 정도의 전투는 쉬운 편이에요.
If you notice, the screen likes to darken when she has a lot of... That's true? I never noticed. Also, I probably need to start reading Dante's notes somewhat soon, I guess. But anyways, yeah, that's about it. I did me dailies. I mean, since I'm not really gonna be touching any mirror dungeons or anything like that at the moment, I'm just gonna be building some modules since I'm not really playing Limbus Company. Anyways, let's mute this. Let's get to the main meat and potatoes of the stream, shall we? Let's get to the main meat and potatoes of the stream. So I have my notes open. We're gonna be reading, and hopefully all of you enjoy. Anyways, and don't mind me, I'll probably need to I'll probably need to take some more water. Is it right? It is. Nice. Chapter 8, Tae Young Produce Company. If this problem isn't fixed in time, I'm gonna get fired and all of my subordinates will get sacked. Ooh. What's this? Chapter 8. In Chapter 7, what happened? Well, in the first 7 chapters, what happened was we got introduced to Moses, then her assistant, Ezra, who's grade 3, and Moses being a grade 5, which is interesting. Let's just say we go around solving like 3 different distortions that we get a heads up. Oh, we gotta arrive in near El Corp and wait until somebody fully distorts there, whatever that's about. It's, like in 2 months. Now we only have, I think, a month remaining until then. But yes, somebody called Yuria from her workshop wants the smoke pipe that Moses has, and she offers to become her assistant, which Moses in turn accepts, as this is the first time Moses has seen somebody who is not distorted in her eyes, as her ability is to see distortions progressing in real time with her eyes, even before they manifest. Anyways, So that's what is going on here. I'm gonna be trying to fight a little bit of sleepiness that I got and try to get through to at least chapter 18, honestly. But yeah. Don't mind me. I'm sure this is not gonna be annoying. Anyways, chapter 8. Something produce company. 3 people sat around the dining table for 2. What? I don't know what Ezra is doing. It's early in the morning and Ezra is already glaring at Yuria. She must be irked by this little intruder that popped into her ordinary life. It's curious how you can stare at me for 30 minutes straight all the while having breakfast. Wouldn't you agree, detective? Yuria spoke with a smile. You small little thing. Detective Moses, it looks like Ezra is mocking us for our height. That's not... Noises. My head is ringing. The rice is well cooked, and yet I'm losing my appetite thanks to the noisy ruckus those 2 are causing. This has been going on for a week. I'd hate to have to deal with this every morning for the rest of my life. What? Quite. Owie! Yeah. They yelped as I kicked them in the shin. Oh, because they were sitting at the table. Okay, I gotcha. Don't know what noise I made there for Yuria. Could you 2 keep it down while we are eating at least? At the very least. Ezra and Yuria nodded. My appetite is finally restored in the fresh serenity. I place a QL egg boiled in soy sauce on warm rice and eat it. The food we brought from Rand's side dash stall, a grocery store that recently opened up near our office, turned out to taste good. I should visit them more often. After finishing the meal, I headed out to the terrace to smoke as per my daily routine. Ezra, do the dishes. Yes, Chief. Listening to the sound of Ezra washing the dishes, I puff out tobacco smoke and look below. Distorted creatures are heading to distorted workplaces as usual. The scenery of the street will forever be the same. Yuria, is the gear all finished? Sure thing. 11 pieces in total, right, Detective Moses? 11 pieces of equipment in just 1 week. That's quite impressive. Besides, the gear was commissioned by Ezra, not me. Likely she must have asked for complex and elaborate gadgets to spite her. Their quality is yet to be demonstrated, but the production speed is certainly on the level of a Meister. Ezra, is that the correct amount? Ezra stops cleaning the dishes for a moment and nods while staring at the plate she's holding. It seems the 2 won't even talk properly to each other anytime soon. If you keep refusing to cooperate with each other, I'm cutting your salaries, you 2. Eh. I don't mind that though. I'm not working here for money after all. Yuria responds nonchalantly. She can't be one-upped. Urza can't be one-upped. I don't mind either, Detective. You don't have to pay me at all this month. I can't believe Urza would go so far as to say that. These 2 make such a childish pair. I placed my hand on my forehead. I don't care what the hell you do with each other. Just don't let your little feud disturb our work. Yes? Got it. We haven't had any noteworthy requests since we took in Yuria. They were all trivial matters where I didn't have to use my pipe, and most of them weren't even cases of the distortion at all. I expected Yuria to be disappointed by this uneventfulness, but she seemed hardly bothered. I went downstairs with my pipe still in my mouth and rummaged through the request box. An envelope happens to be waiting for me. I tore it open and read the paper inside. From idle to rival, what a twist. Hello, who are you welcome to the stream? How you doing? Hopefully you've been having a good day and continue to have a good time on stream. Welcome. After finishing the read-through for this, I'm probably going to need water. Not going to lie. It doesn't help that I'm feeling sleepy for whatever reason. Oh man, this is going to be a good one. This case smells like a big one. The three of us walk the street together. Do you guys get requests from companies too? Yuria asks. Companies in the back streets are our most frequent clients, in fact. They love to simply pass the burden of dealing with troublesome incidents onto the officers that specialize in solving them. I answered, holding my pipe between my teeth. Ezra is following us a few steps behind in silence. I suppose I should try to humor her today. We arrived at the company building. It's a rather large enterprise that occupies the entirety of this 10-story building. A rather large backstreets enterprise, gotcha. Perhaps it's a subcontractor of a wing. Erza and I presented our fixer IDs as well as the letter of request to the lobby, while Yuria showed her workshop union certificate. We received a visitor's pass each and wore them around our necks. The security guard waiting at the elevator confirmed the passes and asked for our destination. Low rate. Giving a brief answer, we took the elevator up to the floor written in the letter of request. When the elevator doors opened on the 8th floor, someone greeted us. Hello, dear fixers. I've been waiting for you. Here's my business card. The card introduced them as Kang Jinsil, section manager of Taiyang Produce Corporation. I've requested 3 officers about this matter so far, but none of them could resolve it. If this problem isn't fixed in time, I'm gonna get fired. And all of my subordinates will get sacked, too. You don't have to worry anymore. Detective Moses over here will elegantly take care of the case for you. Yuri intervened while Ezra still remained quiet. I guess Ezra is just not in the mood today, huh? Greetings. I am Moses from Moses' office, handling mysteries and unsolved cases. May I ask who recommended our office to you? The, MA office recommended you to us. They said Moses' office should be the perfect fit for this kind of case. MA office, that must be where Kaoru is. Kid likes to complain, but they certainly care for us quite a bit. Let's get right to the point. Where are the people suffering from the symptoms you described in the letter of request? Those employees are actually in the sleeping chamber on the 4th basement floor. Not up here. A sleeping chamber? What is a sleeping chamber doing in a company? Yuri asked curiously. That means this is a corrupt company that forces its employees to work overtime so often they don't get any time to go back home for sleep. Erza replied in a plain tone. Oh my. I guess all of the excitement from Erza's voice has been sucked out. Well, it's not just us, you see. Most firms do the same these days. Manager Kang appeared rather perplexed by what Erza said. Please lead the way, then. Of course. This way, please. Man, I'm gonna be feeling sleepy a whole lot today. We got back in the elevator. Manager Kang tagged their security keycard on the elevator's control panel, revealing a set of buttons that led to the basement floors. This company building goes as deep as 15 floors underground. One could very well run into some hidden ruins at this depth. Only. Wait, by just going underground 15 floors? You can hit hidden ruins. Sorry, run into hidden ruins. That's. That is very near to the city. Interesting little lore piece. We shall move on. What kind of produce company goes so deep underground? Ezra asked. I'm afraid I can't answer that much in detail. You could just think of the underground space as our warehouse. Manager Kang answered as they pressed the button to the fourth basement floor. With a jingle, the elevator arrived at its destination. We were met with complete darkness when we stepped out. Oh my, why is it so dark in here? Because it's where people sleep, duh. Ezra answered Yuri's question again. Manager Kang groped along the wall looking for a light switch, and soon enough, orange light bulbs on the ceiling. It lit up, one row at a time. Flick, flick, flick. More people could be seen with each set of light bulbs lit. Numerous people were lying on the floor, arranged in an orderly manner. As you can see, these employees won't wake up at all. Not waking from their dreams, huh? What kind of dreams could they be having to make faces like this? As I said, tilting her head to the side. Wait, what faces? They seem to have escaped into their dreams. We should have a look at their recent work records. Yuria spoke with a smile. Yeah, I thought so too. I said in agreement. Ezra groaned. Oh dear, and I was trying to appease Ezra for a while now. That's not all, actually. Okay, I'll spare it. I don't know what this entire thing translates to. It looks like nonsense, and I'm not gonna attempt to breed nonsense, to be fair. All the people lying on the floor opened their eyes and began chanting unintelligible words in unison. The wide underground floor was soon filled with the voices of the many. Ezra freaked out. I think that was just some sort of message hidden on what they just uttered. Yuria spoke with her eyes closed, focusing on the sound. I mean, yeah, sure, there might be a hidden message here. The voices once again echoed throughout the floor. Manager, we'd like to check their work records for the past month. I turned around as I spoke to Manager Kang, who I expected to be right behind us. Kang Jinsil was instead inside the elevator. A steel gate then blocked entry to the elevator. My apologies, Fixes. I'm sure you people are capable enough to handle this, right? The elevator doors began sliding. Tell me, what happened to Kauro from Ame office? Ame office. You'll be able to find out soon enough. I hope you can survive this hell. The elevator doors were closed completely. They got us good. The light bulbs on the ceiling flicker. Every time the light bulbs flickered, hundreds of eyes still lying on the floor could be seen gazing at us. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well then, that was quite a bit. Huh. Alright, before that, before I continue any further, I should probably be right back and get me some water. Also wash my face maybe so that some of the sleepiness is thrown off. I become a bit more awake. Anyways, give me like 2 minutes. That should be it. Okay, we're back. Hello, Lumilight. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Hopefully you've been having a good day and continue to have a good time on stream. Welcome. Alrighty, we're good to go. Don't mind me. I'm slightly more awake now compared to previously, and I should be able to continue reading. Let's continue the game, and let's start taking notes, shall we? Unmute the game. Keep the game music going. My brain is not computing. Anyways, okay, so chapter 8, what happens? The first thing to note is Ezra and Yuria are not getting along well. And not getting along well. Pretty typical. They have a full-on rivalry. Mostly from Ezra. They have a full-on rivalry, mostly from Ezra. What else happens here? Been about a week since Yuria joined him, and then companies in the back streets, gotcha. We do get to learn that the Moses office, is that what it's called? Yeah, I think her office is just named after the detective herself. You know, in that Moses office, gets backstreet companies as their most frequent client. At the most frequent client. Gotcha. Since they are in the back street, so it also makes sense. The request this time is for a produce company in the back streets. The employees of said company have been sleeping in the 4th basement floor and not waking up at all, while sometimes doing strange, nonsensical chants. Okay. That's it. That's essentially what happens on the request. Kang Jin Sil requested 3 office thus far, but none of them could resolve it. Moses' office, yeah. Sleeping chamber, okay. Turns out the requester CEO of produce company backstabs us. Yeah, leaves us behind in the basement. Leaves, not us, I mean leaves Moses and Co behind in the basement. Classic corporations. Classic corporations. Classic corporation CEOs. And another interesting. Wait, hold on. Another interesting little detail that was mentioned was mentioned at 15 stories, at 15 floors underground, you would start running into, you could, not you would, because that implies certainty, you could start running into some hidden ruins at this depth, which is very interesting to note, and I'm extremely curious as to why does she know that specifically, Moses, but we shall see. And I don't know what is, like, is it a common knowledge or is it something else? Not that much common knowledge. Manager Khan. Not waking from their dreams. If there's anything I want to know more on, it's the runes. Oh, definitely. Please, give us some breadcrumbs. Give us some more breadcrumbs, Project Moon. All the people lying on the floor. Yep. And then, of course, he leaves us behind. Pretty much. And yeah, that's about it. Because let me read my notes yet again for chapter 8. It's Ezra and Yuria not getting along well. They have a full-on rivalry, mostly from Ezra. We do get to learn that Moses' office gets backstreet companies as their most frequent clients. The request this time is for a produce company in the back streets. Employees of said company have been sleeping in the 4th basement floor, not waking up at all, while sometimes doing strange and nonsensical chants. Turns out the requester CEO of produce company leaves Moses and go behind in the basement. Classic corporation CEOs. Another interesting little detail that was mentioned, at 15 floors underground you could start running into some hidden runes at this depth. Wonder if this is common knowledge or information only a group of people have. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Let us move on to the next chapter. This chapter is nice for the setup that leads to the other chapter. I'll say that. So yeah, sure. And it also shows the dynamic of Ezra as well as I almost forgot her name, Yuria. As you can see, I'm still suffering a little from being a little bit sleepy. You wish you a Merry Christmas. Hello, Gintaka, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Hopefully you've been having a good day and continue to have a good time on stream. Happy Christmas Eve, buddy. If you do celebrate the holidays, then I hope you have jolly holidays. But yes, today we're reading, as always, with this. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes, and also we're just waiting for a chance that Yuria could shine on her own. That would be nice. Anyways, let us move on. Crimson Point is the name of chapter 9. Interesting name, let's just say. First of all, interesting name. Alright, let's continue the reading. Every atrocious moment of the past throughout my life swirls around me. Detective, I'm so hopeless with this kind of stuff. Ezra took cover behind me, speaking in a faint, squeaky voice. She's not helping, I suppose. Should we start out by looking for an exit, Detective? She still has the nerve to take jabs at Ezra in times like this. I must wonder if she ever gets tired of it. Do you have night vision goggles or something of the sort? Oh, right, there's a few in my dimensional bag. I'm the one who crafted the glasses, though. Well, I planned out the functions for them. I'll commend you both, so hand me the damned glasses already. Every single moment these two will take to bigger with each other, huh? Ezra rummaged through her dimensional bag and took out 3 pairs of eyeglasses, handing a pair to each of us. The temples of the glasses were decorated with ribbons, typical northern workshop fashion. Do they have to adorn everything they make with such ornaments? Putting on the eyeglasses, I could gain a clear vision of the chamber, as if it were brightly lit by the sun, even with the light bubbles on the ceiling blinking frantically. The glasses automatically compensate for the rapid changes in brightness, allowing me to see things in a constant degree of brightness. That's interesting. So that's it. Not exactly night vision, but still quite impressive. I would have had to rely on a lighter to barely see things in front of us in the old days of just Ezra and I working together. It certainly is a convenient to have a Meister working for our office. Detective, what do we do if they start jumping at us? Ezra worriedly asks. I'm wondering on what to do as well. Looking around, I can count 108 employees here in total. They're all blinking at the same time, chanting the same words. Perhaps... It seems as if the minds of these people are linked together. Interesting theory. Let's see how this goes. Don't mind me, I completely forgot the music. I mean, I completely forgot to mute the music. Serious situation over here. We're still rocking the music as always. Limbus Company background menu music. Detective, over there! Ezra pointed toward a mashed pile of flesh lying in a corner of the sleeping chamber. A mashed pile of flesh. Okay. There were several of them around the chamber, in fact. I can see at least 8 of them, all greeted at different times. We approached a pile that appears to be the most recent. It's a dead body, as I suspected. A corpse that was crushed brutally. Something in this room smashed people. Ooh, okay. Something in this room smashed people. I guess we'll know what that was later on. They were thrown with tremendous force. It's been at least 33 hours since this blood was spilt, judging from its state. This body seems to have suffered heavy external damage. Yuria said as she observed the fresh pile of flesh with a magnifying glass. Kaoru. The sword belonged to Kaoru. That means our opponent has enough physical strength to pound a great four fixer to a pump. The rest of the lumps of flesh nearby are likely what became of the other fixers from Ame office. There is nothing in our sight that appears to be the culprit, however. The only other thing in the space are one-handed and 8 sleeping employees of a 108 sleeping employees of a produce company still wearing their suits, and the 3 of us. Detective, how did those employees appear to your eyes? Ezra asked. Well, obviously, they all have different forms of distortion. No, something is different. The employees did have distortions of their own, but without any common trait to be found, much like I see in the streets. Yet their distortions are beginning to disappear. The one whose face was missing regains their face. The one whose arm was scorched has their arm restored. Cylindrical objects are being removed from another person. Huh? Cylindrical objects are being removed from another person. The distortions are all gathering to a certain spot. That is very interesting, let's just say. Very interesting indeed. Wonder what could be going on here. I looked toward the point where all distortions were converging. Smoke billowed from what appeared to be an altar. Oh, it's an altar? Like some sort of ritual? Then their chant must be some kind of code and a ritual to summon something. The smoke gradually condenses into a certain shape. Should we kill all the employees sleeping here? We don't even know what may manifest from that smoke. It's hard to judge something we know nothing about. I don't get a good feeling about this. It could turn out to be a favorable performance. It could be an opportunity at the same time. It's just as likely to be something that could kill us all. I cannot make any judgment on this phenomenon that I'm experiencing for the first time. Should I kill 108 people at my own discretion based on an uncertain possibility? The lives of Ezra and Yuria depend on my decision. My thoughts accelerate. Ezra and Yuria are saying something to me. Damn it. I know. I should come up with something. If I were to use my white breath, could I control more than 100,000 people at once? I've never tried something of that scale. However, I'll only end up ruining myself even in the worst case scenario. Yes, this is the most plausible option I have. Having hung up in having hung up my mind, it opened my eyes. Alrighty. Having made up my mind, it opened my eyes. The floor under each employee opened up, storing them in the lower space. It was as if they were being used as batteries of the mind. Floor under each employee opened, storing them on the black. Okay. Storing them in the space below. Yeah, man, I am not having a good time. I'm feeling sleepy, as always. Well, looks like they're too late. Too late. Looks like the chanting's finished or something. Only 3 of us remained in the 100 Pyong space. Unless we notice something standing before us. Until we notice something standing before us. At least 3 meters in body size, 6 arms, massive muscles that look like they could burst at any moment, a skeleton head, blue flames spurting from its gaping mouth. Wait, what? At least 3 meters in body size, 6 arms, massive muscles that look like they could burst at any moment. Okay, that's the figure before us. A skeleton head, but blue flame spurting from its gaping mouth. Red eyes stare at me. The shape was complete. The creature assumes a bizarre experience. Okay. Uh. As you can hear it in my voice and by how easily I'm losing track of stuff, or you just getting tired. I'm I'm not able to properly remember what gets sent to me. All I can really say is I'll try to power through this at the moment. The creature assumes a bizarre pose. This is a completely hostile entity. Instinctual fear overwhelms us. Yuria grabbed my sleeves tight. Everyone's eyes changed. Ezra, what we're about to face is something completely different from anything we have dealt with before. Yes, Detective. Ezra puts her dimensional bag on the floor. Yuria, observe me to your heart's content. Of course I will. I held my pipe between my lips. I closed my eyes and began breathing in. The distortion has the same scent as the pianist, a distortion dedicated to slaughtering people. One moment of carelessness means death. Oh. I suppose this old habit will die hard. One moment of carelessness means death, yet I'm beginning to feel excited. I suppose this old habit would die hard. All Out Assault Mode Mark III. Ezra's dimensional bag emitted an orange glow as she shouted. Ezra armed herself with exoskeletons of various shapes all over her body. Ezra's big, bulky body was made even bigger, her size now comparable to the best we are facing. I noticed that the exoskeleton she's wearing doesn't exactly appear to be the good ones I saw her use before. These must be Yuria's work, though it seems that Elsa found the time to spittle them with stickers like she does with everything else she owns. To each their own, right? To each their own. When did you plastic my gear with silly stickers like that? Yuria complained as expected. If it looks like we're about to die, don't look back and just run. I'm sure we can fix that elevator somehow. I'll earn you enough time. Ezra spoke in a calm tone. What? What are you talking about? Yuria dropped her usual impudence. I placed my hat on my heart and wait, no. I placed my hand on my forehead. Jesus Christ, this is gonna take me a bit to get up from sleepiness. Stop jinxing us, you two. We're making it all back alive. And an explosion goes off because appropriately that was the best way, because that was the appropriate explosion to have gone off. With a thunderous kick against the floor, the giant leaped at me. Its skeptical head came right in front of me in the blink of an eye. One of its saw me wielding up for a punch. A clean hit would also do that. A clean hit from the first game could turn me into pulp. I stood still and closed my eyes. Ezra cut in immediately and sent the skeleton giant flying as quickly as it had approached me. I won't let so much as they share wait, what? I won't let you so much as lay a finger on the detective. Ooh. Crashing into the wall, the giant soon jumped out and threw its first at Ezra. Looks like she couldn't dodge that. Why am I feeling so sleepy, bro? This is negatively impacting the stream and myself. Oh my goodness. Ezra held her arms high and deployed a powerful shield to block its attack. My hair and coat fluttered from the blast of air created from its impact. Hello, Lumily Light. I already welcomed you before, if I remember. But if I didn't, welcome. Hopefully you've been having a good day and didn't have a good time on stream. The skeletal giant is a purely fictional being. I doubt psychological attacks will have any effort to it. I could try resurrecting the movement to assist Ezra to no end. Okay, I could try restricting its movements to assist Ezra, but even if I did, can she deliver the finishing blow to that monster? I doubt that either. Okay, interesting. Ezra, protect me with all your strength. Yes, Chief. Ezra responded loud and clear and inhaled the crimson red breath. Fourier-style rotary drill. These drills emerge from the exoskeletons of wraiths. The drills emerge from the distinct. एक तो Saudi Arabia पता है कहाँ है. एक damn it, my brain is actually turning into mush. Man. My brain is actually legitimately positively turning into mush. The giant uses two of its arms to grab Ezra's right arm and pushes her away while charging up strength with the other four. Ezra continues to strike the giant's waist with her left arm. And then another explosion, because why not? 4 straight punches landed on Ezra all at once. The sheer number of the game giant's forearm knocks Ezra across the team. Knocks Ezra across this chamber and into the walk. I inhale the crimson breath. You dummy, use the axe, Yuria yelled urgently. Yuria style axe. Ezra used a long pull from her back, which turned into a two-handed axe. Battle axe of enormous size. I never thought this stupidly large axe would actually see use, Yuria mumbled. Jesus Christ, bro. Oh my lord. I'm just gonna read this chapter and probably do a mirror dungeon real quick, because holy, I am. The sleepiness is not going back down. Edisa charged at the giant with the axe in her hands. At the same time, I wonder why. Uh, what's it called? At the same. Wait, what? No, I'm losing track of what I'm saying. I'm losing track of what I'm saying. Oh man. Ah. Now I feel like it's 30% of what I'm speaking. It's just random noises that I'm making that don't even mean anything. No. Oh, bro. If you ask what the fuck has happened here, I would have no clue what has happened in the past 10 paragraphs. Oh, man. At the same time, the Colossus lifts its right arms and lunges at her. It's like when you are drowsy at school reading the same line over and over again. It's literally how it is. That's literally how it is. Ah. Come on. I just want to get through this chapter. And then I'll probably then I'll probably just stop for a bit until the drowsiness dies down a little. Then we'll continue. At the same time, the Colossus lifts its right arms and lunges at her. Okay, so there's a Colossus right now. Where did it come from? I don't know. Sleepy memory. I have no clue where the fucking the Colossus came from. There was a skeleton giant. Right. No clue, as I said. Three muscular arms of the giant flung into the air, cleaved clean by the axe. And who's holding the axe? It's Ezra. It's an axe sharpened by my titties in my workshop for 4 whole days. I bet it cuts better than hyper oscillation blades, huh? It really does. Ezra's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. I inhaled a crimson red breath. Watch out! Yuria gave Ezra a warning. Zooming? Who's zooming now? The cleaved right arms morphed into sharp stakes and wedged into Ezra's flesh. Ezra swings her axe up, chopping off the arm stakes still stuck in her body. Ezra then proceeded to kick the giant right away and swung her axe at the giant's body this time. Ezra, the edge is all worn down now. Ezra threw the frayed axe into the ground. You're fighting a giant Asura Ghost Rider. Oh, man. I inhaled a crimson red breath. All that Moses has been doing that I remember is her inhaling a crimson red breath for whatever reason. Ezra and the giant engage in a brutal scuffle. The titan ruthlessly pummels Erza with its 3 remaining arms and its legs, crushing her exoskeletons bit by bit. Blood gushes out from the stakes stuck in her body. Detective Moses, please! Yuria cried at me. I inhaled a crimson red breath. I think that's the 4th time now, or the 3rd time. I don't know. I do not stop inhaling. I close my eyes and sink into my inner world. Every atrocious moment of the past throughout my life swirls around me. The memories of violence I would never want to recall: blood, scars, corpses, pain, war, carnage. I concentrate all of that malice into a single point. Good work, Ezra. The smoking pipe became a scarlet, coarse cylinder in my hand. I aimed the cylindrical shape at the oversized skeleton. crimson point. I stabbed the cylinder into the giant. The cylinder expanded by about 5 meters, erasing the creature's upper body. It bored a hole through the giant's body, a hole created from physical force, yet the origin of that force was neither external nor internal. What was once there simply vanished. My body was shaking, my eyes were bloodshot, and my mind was swarmed with destructive impulses. I must maintain reason. Damn, okay. Looks like using too much of the smoke pipe. The special smoke pipe, let's just say, is it has some consequences of infecting the user with destructive impulses, as written here. She coughs up a thick clot of blood. Then I felt a familiar embrace. It's all right, detective. It's over now. Ezra hugged me, her body soaked in blood. Yuria was next to me, sitting on the floor, crying. Crying because of the greatness of the pipe or something. And I could come back to myself. You all did well. I stood back up and adjusted my coat. It's about time we figured out just what's going on in this damned company. I put my pipe in my mouth. Translation notes. Pyong. A Korean unit of floor space. It's similar to the real estate measurement units of Takmi and Subo in Japan. 100 Pyong is about 330 square meters, or 3,558 square feet. Huh. Hello, Merry Christmas Eve, Cleves. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Hopefully you've been having a good day and continue to have a good time on stream. Welcome. But you missed me being absolutely drowsy a little earlier on in stream, and 30% of what I was reading was just me making random noises and forgetting what I just read. That which the next chapter holds. A white-haired person in a handbag. Detective, could that be? Ezra gave me an unnerved look. It means that scoundrel dropped by this company. What are you two talking about? Yuria asked us. Report, Yuria. I'm also quite drowsy, to be fair. Okay, so, what happened? Because I do need to take notes on this. I have no clue. I have no clue as to what happened. Dimensional bag that we picked out, like glasses. We wore them to see in the dark because it just allowed them to see things in a constant degree of brightness. Okay. What do we do if they all start jumping at us? Count 180 employees here in total. 108 employees, huh? That number has to mean something, I feel like. But anyways. It seems as if the peoples are linked together. Pointed toward a mashed pile of flesh lying in a corner of the sleeping chamber. There were several of them around the chamber, in fact. It's the dead body, and who was it? Thrown around by a tremendous force. It was grateful fixer Kaoru. Kaoru. Yeah, it's Kaoru. Okay. And what else? They are all different forms of distortions. 108 Heavenly Earth heroes. And there's different. Guess I just missed how a pianist level distortion can just be summoned then. The only thing that comes to my mind for that 108 has to be something. Employees that have distortions of their own, but without any common trait to be found. Yet their distortions began to disappear. Cylindrical objects are being removed. Smoke billowed from what appeared to be an altar. What's the altar? Something similar. The floor under each employee opened up, storing them in the space below. It was as if they were being used as batteries of the mind. Okay. 6 arms, 3 meters in size, massive muscles, a skeletal head, blue flame spreading from its gaping mouth, red eyes staring at us. The shape was complete. Okay. That's what it was. Crimson Point. Something fight sequence with, yeah, something fight sequence with. We still don't know what the fuck that altar is, I think, here. This distortion has the same scent as the pianist, which is interesting. Something fight sequence with a 3 meter tall. Shame this happened on one of my favorite chapters. Well, Sedge. Fight sequence with 3 meter tall Asura looking Asura with 6 arms looking skull face distortion thingy. Yes. Sure. Fight sequence. Okay. What's the other thing? Altar. It was summoned through an altar, which we do not know much about right now. Anything else? During the summoning, Moses noted that the distortions on the employees, distortion on the employees were being attracted, were being removed and attracted towards the altar. Gonna have to see. Coward or the guy from AIM or AIME office is Didge. And then that's about it. The floor underneath each employee opened up, storing them in the space below. It was as if they were being used as batteries of the mind, which is interesting yet again. Hostile entity. Dimensional bag. Distortion. Moses also notes that this distortion has the same scent as the pianist, which is interesting yet again. Have no clue what this means for the most part. Yet I'm beginning to feel excited. I suppose this old habit will die hard. Hello, Miascarada, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Hopefully you've been having a good day. Continue to have a good time on stream. Happy Christmas Eve. If you had come earlier, about like 40 minutes earlier, you would be catching me in an absolute state of drowsiness where I'm just slurring about 40% of the words that I'm speaking out loud. I hope you get better soon. But yeah, I was slurring 40% of my words. I was absolutely drowsy, but I powered through, and now I forgot half of what happened on this chapter. Now we're taking notes. It's chapter 9, Crimson Point. I don't think I really need to note down how it was attacking. Skeletal hand. Stood still and closed my eyes. She's charging up. Okay. Held my pipe, closed my eyes, and began breathing in. Okay. Yep. I breathe in. I inhale the crimson red breath. 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 Another one. I inhale. Okay, this sounds just funny. I inhale the crimson red breath. That's 6 times. It's mentioned 6 fucking times. I do not stop inhaling. Copium inhalers be like. Oh god. After inhaling the the crimson red breath 6 times, like a dedicated copium huffer. Moses launches Moses launches her ultimate move, Crimson Point. Crimson Point. Entirely erasing it's gonna be funny looking back on the notes. Oh, definitely. Imagine her ID taking 6 turns doing nothing but inhaling crimson red breath. Moses launching her ultimate crimson point, entirely erasing the upper half of the distortion out of existence from out of existence. Yes, there we go. And what was I'll add some more. The drawbacks, the drawbacks for the soy cracker level of smoking. The drawbacks for said ultimate move for Crimson Point, Crimson Point, were that she was built with destructive thoughts, destructive impulses, destructive impulses. Destructive impulses. Only, if I remember, it was only Ezra that held back. It was only Ezra that taunted, kept. There was only Ezra that kept the taunt on herself away from Moses, while Yuria did absolutely nothing. While Yuria did absolutely nothing, fangirling with the tears of joy, seeing the tears of joy, observing the smoke pipe. Yes, I think that's the right spelling for fangirling. Yeah, only Erza kept the taunt on herself away from Moses, while Yuria did absolutely nothing, fangirling with tears of joy. Well, not really fangirling, but sure. Not quite right. Hold on. Yuria did mostly nothing. Nothing. Nothing, only observing the smoke pipe. At the end of the fight, she had tears in her eyes. Probably because of getting to see Crimson Point in action. Yeah. Crimson Point in action? Question mark. Right, I guess that's more correct, because I do not remember anything else. I mean, she provided a direction. She yelled out, use the axe. And, protect me with all your strength. Yeah, there was the protect me with all your strength, sure. Crimson Breath. Detective Moses, please. I do not stop inhaling. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I think that's about it. Let's read the full notes. Crimson Point, Chapter 9. Something fight sequence with 3 meter tall Asura with 6 arms, looking skull face, distortion thingy. It was summoned through an altar, which we do not know much about right now. During the summoning, Moses noted that the distortion then employees were being removed and attracted towards the altar. Moses also notes that this distortion has the same scent as the pianist. Have no clue what this means for the most part. After inhaling the crimson red breath 6 times like a dedicated Hophium huffer, Moses launches her ultimate Crimson Point, entirely her ultimate move, Crimson Point, entirely erasing the upper half of the distortion out of existence. The drawbacks for Crimson Point were that she was filled with destructive impulses. Only Erza kept the taunt on herself, away from... Only Erza. Erza kept the taunt off the distortion on herself, away from Moses, while Yuria did mostly nothing, only observing the smoke pipe. Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't think anything else much happened, so yeah. I guess we continue. Anyways, report. Yuria. Oh hey. She has gears in a dress, as well as shoes, as well as other things, I guess. Also, teddy bear. Ah, this is Yuria. The small little side. What would you call this? A tiny top hat, and a giant wrench with a ribbon. Gotcha. Yuria, age 21, gender female, affiliation, grade, miser, self-proclaimed, height, 5 feet 7 inch. Hey, I guess she's the... Hobbies, having tea parties with the teddy bears is what she claims, though they essentially appear to be brainstorming sessions for weapon ideas. Specialties, crafting quality equipment at high speed. Birthday, July 15th. Likes, teddy bears, bitter brewed coffee, collecting unique adhesive plasters, band-aids. Dislikes, things that get in her way, cherry cupcakes, coffee with syrup or sugar. She does not like cherry cupcakes or coffee with syrup or sugar. Gotcha. Another report. Hanheejun. Okay, I guess. This is the guy, huh? Alright. Henhejan, age 37, gender male. Affiliation 7th Association HQ Section 2. A grade 2 fixer? Alrighty then. Also 5'7". Hobbies. I wouldn't really say he has any. The only thing he did whenever I saw him was work that's put in front of him. Specialties. Quick analytical prowess, level-headed judgment. Birthday, July 20th. 5 days later. Likes tidiness, sweet coffee with about 3 sugar cubes. Dislikes affairs that leave a mess, which needs to be dealt with afterwards. Yeah, that's... Anyways. Well, apparently that habit of his is probably not going to get along with Yuria, huh? Chapter 10, Blockade. An artificial distortion created by someone's design. Well then, let's see how this turns out. Let us mute the game music and continue on, shall we? Yuria, you're more than capable of repairing this elevator, right? Yes. Please get it fixed as quickly as possible. I'll be looking after Ezra for a bit. Hello, cool dog. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Hopefully you've been having a good day. Continue to have a good time on stream. Welcome. Happy Christmas Eve. There have been... No worries, detective. I've been through this much a lot. There have been a few occasions that could harm Ezra this badly. There have been a few occasions that could harm Ezra this badly. Though injuries in general are not a huge concern for her, still it wouldn't hurt to take extra caution. Considering that it's the distortion we're dealing with this time, I came near Ezra, who's resting on the floor, and took out a first aid kit with a dimensional bag. From her dimensional bag, okay. It's been a while since I bandaged your wounds myself. It really has. The stakes embedded in Erza's body fizzled into vapor when the skeleton beast fell. I wrap a Fanner workshop pressure bandage on the open wounds. Blood is still oozing out, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of infection or transmission. I hope you get better soon. Cool dog. What was up with this distortion, detective? These things keep getting tougher and tougher. Could it be the same type as the mock exam case? Beats me. Alright. Take care of the rest yourself. I stood up and approached the altar like black box at it's a black box at the end of the chamber. The distortions of this company's employees were sucked into this box, which in turn created a white smoke that manifested into one giant distortion. That wasn't a mass distortion shared by many people like the one we saw in the mock exam case. An artificial distortion created by someone's design. Ezra, come and get this weird thing when you're done bandaging. Got it, Chief. Did you get to see the art, promotional art from the previous chapters? Yep, I did. On the Limbus. The Limbus. The Limbusy wiki. Yes, I did get to see that for some of the previous chapters. Though I only remember like one the promotional art from, what was it, chapter 6 of Ezra picking up Yuria by her collar. Ezra picked up the bag and dusted herself off as she stood up. Detective Moses, the elevator is working. We can get to any floor we want. This company intentionally put its employees to sleep in this underground chamber and hired fixers to fight against the man-made distortion. what are they planning to do with it? Develop it into a weapon? If they could manage to control the distortion through technical methods, they'd shake up the balance of power for sure. But how exactly? How is it possible to quantitatively measure and manipulate the human mind through a device or two? The technology that could achieve such a feat would be nothing short of a singularity. It's not an advancement that some obscure company in the back streets could make on its own. Something is up with this company. True, all very good questions being asked at the right time. Let's head to the 8th floor. Understood. We are heading up. Ezra hurriedly hopped into the elevator. That strange box fortunately seems to fit into her dimensional bag somehow. Sion Bei, are you feeling all right? Silence ensued. Ezra Sonbei. Me? I'm your Sonbei? Ezra exclaimed with surprise. Since we're both assistants of Detective Moses and you're my senior here, I'm calling you Sonbei from here on out. Yuria finally seems to have acknowledged Ezra. Oh gosh, Detective, she must be distorted. Let's leave the friendly jokes for when we get back to our office. We're almost at the 8th floor now. Okay, we get to the floor, which has a ring, apparently. We were met with a strong scent of blood when the elevator doors opened. This is the smell of fresh blood. The office was overgrown with the green veins, bearing countless red fruits on the ceiling. Another distortion? My eyes traced along the stems of the vines, starting from their tips on the ceiling. They led back to the agape mouths of this company's employees. None of them were alive. This is... The same box you had seen in the sleeping chamber was placed in the middle of this office. Yet another distortion. Oh, shit. Detective, does that mean there's more like the one we just fought? Concerned, Ezra asked. I placed my hand on my forehead. We can't take this anymore. Both Ezra and I are at our limits. We'll be dead meat if we face another distortion at the level of the one we encountered just before. Ezra, Yuria, our objective from now on is to survive. Follow every order I have to give you. The two nod in response. A siren went off, followed by an announcement. Emergency lockdown. Emergency lockdown. Tay Young Produce Company is closing business as of now. Repeat. Tay Young Produce Company is closing business as of now. Dear employees, as per the terms of the employment contract, you may not leave the company building. Repeat. I don't know what this sound effect is. Shutters came down at the office's windows one by one. Ezra, use as much force as possible to break that window right now. Yes, Chief. Ezra equipped both Namir Workshop's and Alice Workshop's gauntlets on her hands and dashed into the window for a powerful strike. The massive weight of the punch sent tremors through the office, but it only left a dent on the shutter. That was no ordinary steel. We're completely trapped here. I took out my pipe and started smoking from it. Detective Moses, the elevator is no longer functioning. The building's main system has entirely shut down. Yuria gave me bad news on top of this. Oh. Here's something shattering. Did the window give in to the impact? Of course not. I was a dunce and a fool to make such an hasty assumption. Ezra, get your stigma blade ready. And Yuria, can you make a device that can start a fire currently? None that I can craft at the moment, but I could try using something I prepared for your smoking pipe, Detective Moses. Something for her smoking pipe? The red objects hanging from the ceiling were not fruit of any kind, they were eggs. They were in a hatchery of some sort. The shock of Ezra's punch caused those eggs to hatch. Massive mosquitoes with the faces of humans slowly crawled out from the cracked shells. God damn, okay. Massive mosquitoes with the faces of humans. How the fuck would that even look like? You know what? For maximum mosquitoes. Mosquito. Yeah, sure. So you mean to say this mosquito, but the size of a human, and with a human's face instead of this? Huh. Gotcha. I just needed an accurate mental image, that's all. Detective! They're coming! Ezra yelled urgently. Yuria, let's try what you suggested, whatever it is. I handed my pipe over to Yuria. Ezra held the blade and prepared herself for combat. The mosquitoes hovered in the air for a moment before charging at us. Ezra's fiery sword sliced through several mosquitoes, but it wasn't nearly enough to stop them all. The insects bit Ezra and started sucking the blood out of her body. Oh shit. That gotta. That looks a little unnerving. The mental image. Let's just say huge mosquitoes or huge insects or pests of any kind. Yeah, that keep me away. I would disagree, Cleves. But sure, you do you, buddy. Make it quick, Yuria. It's done. Try imagining fire in the same way as when you tried your pipe, when you turned your pipe into the red sword. She gave me back my pipe, now with a red ribbon tied around it. I let in a red breath. Bursts of flame rose from the pipe's bowl, which then took the form of birds. The burning birds fly into the giant pests, feasting on Ezra and set them ablaze. Thanks, Detective. Ezra's voice lacks energy. My body rapidly grows cold. It's as if my life's warmth is being drained away. I suppose everything must come at a price. Let's take the stairs over there. The door isn't locked, thankfully. Yuria gave us good news this time. Flinging open the door. Sorry, but I would have to give that spot to our buddy Adept. Yuria gave us good news this time, flinging open the door to the stairwell. The birds of the flame brought us enough time to make our way to the door. Goodness, Yuria quietly muttered as soon as she stepped into the stairwell. A stream of people flows along the staircase. It's quite literally a river of humans. They float down the stairwell, their limbs tangled up with each other. Detective, is this the end for us? Ezra barely managed to speak. Not today, I answered faintly. Sunbay, also written Sunbay, a Korean honorific used to address seniors or mentors, older students, experienced athletes, people who have worked longer at a business, etc. It's almost identical to the Japanese honorific senpai. Although we typically try to avoid using honorifics in our translations, this is one of the few times where an exception has to be made due to the difficulty of finding a suitable English equivalent. Okay. Anyways, very nice. I mean, not so nice for the characters, of course. You get what I mean, but still. Oh, bro. Right. Let's open up the music. Chapter 10. It's blockade. Okay, so what happened this chapter? I just read it, but we repaired the elevator. Moses bandages up Ezra's wounds. It's an artificial distortion created by someone's design. Alrighty. Some info. Moses notices that the black box altar is an artificial distortion. It's an artificial distortion. Created by somebody's design. Monolith reference? Monolith maybe? Now, Yuria repairs the elevator while Moses applies some bandages to Ezra. For the wounds inflicted upon her in the last battle. There we go. We head up. Okay, another distortion. The building's locking down. The gang heads up to the 8th floor, only to find even more distortions. More distortions. Whoa. This time it's dead employees. Somehow. No. This time it's human. This time it's giant mosquitoes. This time it's giant mosquitoes with human faces. This time was it green? Red eggs. Red eggs on the ceiling containing a ceiling containing giant mosquitoes with human faces in them. The building conveniently inconveniently okay. The building inconveniently shuts down. Shuts down? Oh wait, what does it do? Goes into emergency shutdown. I mean emergency lockdown, not shutdown. It's not a computer. Emergency lockdown. The building inconveniently goes into emergency lockdown, preventing the group from escaping through the window. The shutter is also not made up of ordinary steel. And what else? The red objects hanging from the ceiling were not fruit of any kind, they were eggs. A hatchery of some sort. Yuria modifies the smoke pipe with something to make it be able to produce flames. Wow. To combat the swarm of giant insects, giant mosquitoes. There we go. A smoke pipe that produces flames. I know. Pretty crazy, right? Well, we'll see. Cost seems to be the warmth of your body. Goodness. At the end, the group tries to escape through an open stairwell, but even more distortions with the river of people having all their limbs tangled with each other. There we go. At the end of the group, the group tries to escape through an open stairwell, but even more distortions with the river, with people having all their limbs tangled with each other on the stairs. The stairs. Anyways, that should be it for this chapter. Chapter 11. Chapter 11. The Tide. I mean, from the first fight, she's definitely very weakened by now. We shall see how it goes. In this rush, I desperately held on to Ezra and Yuria's hands. Alright, let's mute the music and continue on with Chapter 11. There is a swift torrent of people that looks as though it would carry off anyone who may carelessly tread in it. We are out of options. Our only choice is to let the current take us wherever it may lead. Ezra, Yuria, I need you to trust me. Sure thing, Chief. Alright. We're jumping into this stream. Understood. What? The difference in attitude is palpable. I am the first to step into the river. I was sucked right in as soon as I immersed a foot ankle deep into the stream of flesh. As I quickly descend along with the wave, I catch a glimpse of each floor. The 7th floor, where employees are crawling on all fours, viciously preying on each other. The 6th floor, where humans folded into cuboid shapes are stacked up. The 5th floor, where drowned employees are floating in the air. The 4th floor, where a number of people are offering a human sacrifice to what appears to be a statue of a person who reached nirvana. The 3rd floor, where the minds of employees are being absorbed by a dark shade. In the turbulent tide of humans tangled with one another, my consciousness slowly fades. The boundary of consciousness is collapsing. People's distortions join each other in a large flow, entering the underground floors. I'm confident I can keep a firm grip on my sanity, but can Ezra and Yuria retain themselves in this current just the same? My worries soon erode into fragments and drift along the stream. Reminiscences of the past swell up in my mind, memories of my past missions. Okay. Companions I couldn't protect. My incompetence that drove them to their demise. It's as if all my regret and longing is being stirred up. The emotions became one with the flood and float away. In this rush, I desperately held on to Ezra and Yuria's hands. How far have I gone down? How much time has passed? When I came back to my senses, no one was around me. Where did all the people go? What about Ezra and Yuria? My head is pounding. You must be awake by now. A nostalgic yet despicable voice reaches my ear. If you're hearing this, that most likely means you're at the 15th basement floor of Taeyang Produce Corporation. You always love to play silly games like this. You must have a lot of questions for me. That's a pre-recorded message, and now I see why Hen Hee-jun visited my office recently. I've been playing into his hands all along. Indeed, he always trusted me and did every favor I asked of you. I'm guessing you were behind the incident I caused that day as well. Wait, what? Pre-recorded message? Okay, so the guy can predict the conversation there. I'm guessing you were behind the incident I caused that day as well. This is not the time for that, though. We have more important questions to address. Why did you deliver? Why did I leave a message here to talk with you? What happened to your adorable assistants? How was I able to use the distortion to my advantage? I won't let your cunning words sway me anymore, you sly serpent. It's my business to take care of my partners, and I decide my own path. Sure you do. I'm just trying to give you a small heads up. All the anomalies that occurred in this company, they were set up for one reason. I wanted to let you know that I found a clue about the distortion you're chasing after. As you have seen here, I can now harness the distortion to an extent. Moses, doesn't this give you a glimmer of hope that you may finally repent for what you did? You know, I was already about to go meet you anyway. There was no need to pull this nonsense on us. But if I didn't go to such lengths at the very minimum, your hatred towards me wouldn't have carried much weight at all, now would it? Oh? Your, your hatred toward me wouldn't have carried much weight at all, now would it? Weird thing to say, man. What a paltry concern. I'm carefully preserving all my wrath just for you. Why don't you prepare a silver platter in the meantime, so I can put your head on it? You must be awake by now. If you're hearing this, that most likely means you're at the 15th basement floor of Taeyang Produce Company. That son of a bitch. He knows how to mess with me too well. I must focus on finding Ezra and Yuria for now. Fluorescent lamps light up the underground space. This was the 15th basement floor. It's entirely surrounded by pure white surfaces. And Ezra is standing idly in the middle of it. Ezra. I took out my smoking pipe and put it in my mouth, then I placed my hand on my forehead. It looks like Ezra's distortion is still within my ability to solve. She seems so tiny and powerless, standing on the opposite side of the room with her head bowed. Detective, I couldn't protect her. This is just like back then. I trusted you, Detective. Yuria was laid still at Ezra's feet, unconscious. Though I still believe in you, actually. Yuria's red ribbon is still tied on to my smoking pipe. I quietly tasted the smoke as I looked up to the ceiling. Large antlers resembling those of a stag were grown on Ezra's head. Through my eyes, Ezra has always worn a mask on her face, though I could never quite tell whether that mask was a true expression of her feelings, but this time numerous masks got plastered all over her face. The river of distortions got her in the end. I suppose solving the distortion of my precious sidekick is one case I can work on free of charge. I listen a violet. Violet breath? It can change colors? Hold on a minute. It can change colors? What are we gonna be going through the entire? I mean, it would be indigo, not violet. But are we? I thought we were gonna be going through the entire spectrum of colors that makes up light. Anyways, right, notes and also music. Let's continue. Okay, so what happened in this chapter? In this chapter, we jumped into the stream of people. We got closer and closer. Six? What, chapter 6? You got closer and closer to... I have no idea. Right. We're getting closer to closer of our consciousness collapsing, things of our consciousness dissolving, fragments and memories being stirred up in the rush. How much time has passed? recorded monologue, not monologue, recorded conversation by Han Hee-jun follows. He knows how to what's it called? Rile up Moses, and then bro wants to be hated. Gotcha. Ezra's close to distorting. Yeah, that's about it for chapter 11, The Tide. That was pretty quick. Chapter 11, The Tide. Moses and co decide to jump into the stream of flesh. The effects. It starts to erode away at Moses' consciousness. Okay, it's the other way around. And for this, I'm gonna assume it's only one, yeah. It starts to erode away at Moses' consciousness, stirring up her past memories she wants to forget about companions long dead. We see that every floor has its own distortion going on with the employees. You see that every floor has its own distortion going on with the employees. Interesting. But hey, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps us the channel a ton, and I really appreciate all the support I can get. Thank you very much. And if you'd like to financially support me, although you're not obligated to, there's the membership, super chats, and super thanks. Anyways, let me just take a quick look. Is the stream going all right? I should probably check this a little bit more, to be fair. I'm just not doing a good job at that. Yep, the stream's going good. Yep, I have read the entirety of Leviathan, though I may have forgotten some things. Maybe many things. I don't exactly remember, but yes, I have read the entirety of Leviathan. Okay. Everything's good, so let's continue. Been running fine today. I should probably drink some more water now that I think about it. Hold on a minute. Yes. See that every floor has its own distortion going on with the employees. Maybe a jump scare of my form amputees. Distortion before it became an abnormality. But in the same vein, what's it called? In the same vein, the lizard-like point distortion Jumpson turned into a mechanical box with an eye through an eye hole. Now I have no clue what's the relation. That's a drastic change of form, let me just say. So I don't know if there's any guarantee of there being any semblance of continuity between a distortion and then an abnormality. So don't know about that. Maybe a jump scare of my form empties distortion before it became an abnormality. How far have I gone down? How much time has passed? He must be awake by now. Nostalgic yet despicable voice reaches my ear. After some time in the stream, Moses is awakened by the recorded voice of an abnormality that doesn't want you to look at it. Abnormalities are are more about what they represent as a concept. Of course, because the distortions you still have. I mean, distortions can... Yeah, distortions is basically a fricked up... what's it called? When your ideals reach a breaking point and that worldview gets enforced with the help of Carmen. If you don't awaken an ego, right? So distortion, I feel like, is more about the person and their worldview itself, but abnormality is a very stripped down, a singular concept for the most part. So I feel like it can drastically, what's it called? What am I saying? A distortion can be drastically different from its stripped down, a singular concept abnormality, which it may get turned into. Some are trauma made manifests, others are fairy tales with future consequences. So I don't know what's the relationship with that, but guess we'll see. So I'm not gonna fully go on and write ahead, oh, that guy might be a pre-abnormality distortion of my form empties. But yeah. That's all I'm gonna say. After some time in the stream, Moses is awakened by the pre-recorded voice of Yeah, who's the guy? The guy. Yeah. Han Hee Jun. The guy knows how to get under Shendefrud, specifically coming out of Darkman, is tied to the pleasure of seeing others suffer. The guy knows how to get under Moses' skin. This is not the time for that. Moses' skin, some discussions about the past ensued. Don't let your cunning words sway me anymore, you sly serpent. It's my business to take care of my partners and decide my own path. Glimmer of hope that you may finally repent for what you did. He also wants to keep Moses' hatred active towards himself. Okay, profession. Okay. And then this doesn't really mean much for me. He knows how to mess with me too well. Fluorescent light. Moses is currently in basement floor 15, which is entirely composed of white tiles. I think. Yeah. She finds Ezra close to distorting with a Yuria, with a unconscious Yuria. Just Yuria on the floor. Okay. Unconscious Yuria. On the floor. We end off with I let in a violet breath. Multicolored. Multicolored rain. A smoke pipe. Exclamation mark and question mark. Multicolored smoke from smoke pipe. Right. Let's move on to the next one. Chapter 12. Masks. Divine Zerza. There's distortion. Has antlers. Is on her head. And a lot of masks. on her face. Just something I should probably... Why am I saying Erza again and again? This is probably going to take me like 3 separate streams. It's Ezra, not Erza. Anyways. Chapter 12. Masks. Let me just write it down here. Alright. Now let's mute the music. And continue on forward to Chapter 12. Masks. Well, actually, before that, let me just read all of my notes in Chapter 11. So Moses and Co decide to jump into the stream of flesh, and it starts to erode away at Moses' consciousness, stirring up her past memories she wants to forget about companions long dead. We see that every flow has its own distortion going on with the employees. Maybe a jump scare of my form empties distortion before it became an abnormality. After some time in the stream, Moses is awakened by the pre-recorded voice of Han Hee-jun. The guy knows how to get under Moses' skin. He also wants to keep Moses' hatred active towards himself. Okay. Moses is currently in basement floor 15, which is entirely composed of white tiles. She finds Ezra close to distorting with an unconscious Yuria on the floor. Ezra's distortion has antlers on her head and a lot of masks on her face. We end off with I let in a violet breath, not a purple one. Multicolored smoke from smoke pipe. Anyways, let's continue. Let's dance, Ezra. Ezra, a diligent child who has little faith in herself. Ezra wore a different mask every day. I could only read the expression of the mask covering her face. I don't know what her true expression beneath the mask may be, but I decided to accept what's shown on Ezra's mask as her expression. I never bothered to forcibly resolve her distortion until now. Okay. This time, it's different. She's on the verge of losing herself, swept by others' distortions. Her entire body is covered in the masks of many others as a proof of her perilous state. Ezra prepares a mask for each person she confronts. Ezra prepares a mask for each person she confronts. Ezra prepares an emotion for each mask she wears. I can only begin to fathom the storm raging in her mind. The 15th basement floor. Ezra and I are facing each other in this white room. Loud noises come from Ezra's masks. Voices of laughter, crying, anger, anxiety, melancholy, distrust, disgust, and joy fill the room, fill the chamber. I coiled my violet whip around my hand. Oh right, it was a violet whip. It turned into a violet whip. Let's dance, Ezra. I lashed out at Ezra, my first target. A laughing yellow mask on her right leg. A voice rings in my head when I grapple the mask with my whip. What's your favorite kind of sandwich, Moses? Mine would be mustard. And mustard is my favorite too. I pull the whip to tear off the yellow mask from her body. It makes me feel nauseous. Ezra lets out a scream. Please bear with it for just a bit. The red mask on Ezra's left shoulder gives out a screech. Ezra grabs the whip and pulls me toward her. I release the tension in my body. In a moment's notice, I'm sent flying in her direction. Oh? I'll kill them all. I'll break everyone who's got to die. Ezra swings her fist at me as I'm being dragged toward her in the air. Using the momentum of the pull, I manage to propel my body away from her fist's path. I wrap the whip around Ezra's body and jump onto her shoulders. Then I grab the red mask with my hand to tear it off. Use violence only when necessary. Shrieking, the red mask is ripped out and thrown to the ground. My hand turned red from the searing heat of the mask. Ezra struggled hard, crushing me on the floor. In the process, I feel a sore pain. A bone or 10 must have gotten a crack. So her favorite sandwich is just Moses's liking? Okay. Putting on so many masks, huh? I confronted Ezra's mask and tore them off one by one. With every mask I removed from her, a burst of Ezra's emotions came forth. An ice-cold mask, a mask that eats away the mind, a mask with rusted nails hammered into it. These are not your true feelings. They're facades, faces that you want other people to see of you. I was scalded, bled from splinters, got frostbites, and threw up from sickness. Only one mask remained. Its sadness. The absolute last mask of Ezra's that I wanted to face. I couldn't save them that time. I couldn't protect them at all. I'm so sad. The blue mask embedded in the center of Ezra's chest is crying, tears falling from its eyes. Okay. No, dear, that sadness isn't yours. The emotion was forced upon you by others. If you aren't feeling sad, there's no need to make yourself feel sad no matter how others look at you. But I'm really feeling sad though. You aren't sad because you couldn't save everyone that day. It was an excruciating task to bring myself to speak the next part, but I continued on nonetheless. You're sad that I'm bearing regret for what happened. The mouth opened its the mask opened its mouth and began wailing loudly. My head felt like it was on the verge of bursting from hearing its cry. An unstoppable stream of tears started falling from my eyes. I don't know what that was. The mask broke apart, and several threads were stuck in my chest. The wounds bled tears instead of blood. And several shards. Okay. As I was back to her usual self, she knelt down, staring into the floor. I slowly walked over to her. It's over now, dear, and gently caressed her head. Detective, I'm sorry. Ezra whimpered. The next issue at hand is Yuria. She seems to be in a perilous condition as well, although she doesn't seem to have been afflicted with the torrent of distortions, judging from the state of her body. I placed my hand on my forehead and whiffed my pipe. Of course, quite the way to end it. Interesting. I don't want to pee. Yeah, no. It's just sometimes it's just like, eh. They could have just went with Shatter, but okay, sure. They got the sound. Alrighty, so, this would be relatable to a lot of people, to be fair. You put up emotions that people want to see. To adjust to the other people or groups of people that you may be interacting with and not expressing your true emotions. And, kind of bottling it all up, to be fair. And going through those different masks, it can be extremely draining. Different mask every day. Well, it was a good one. It was definitely a good one. It's just I kind of don't have the, what's it called, necessary character investment and background for most of this to hit. I'm like, okay, Yeah, I find this concept interesting. I've seen this a few other times in other stories. All right. Okay, so let's note down what her mask ended up being. Unmute the game music. Well, it's a crash and shatter, so I guess it's a crash shatter. Yeah, I don't really. Sometimes the usage of onomatopoeias can definitely take me out a bit, but it depends on the writing style, to be fair. Like, in that case, they could have just went with shatter and it would still work. And it would be the breaking of the mask. But sure. It doesn't really annoy me, just something I wanted to point out. Chapter 12, Masks. I'm not gonna go and write the sequence of events that happened here. I'm just gonna go write a general description of a distortion. Ezra's distortion revolved around her putting up masks for different people and complementing them with the relevant emotions. She didn't really truly express her emotions ever, from what it looks like. From what it looks like, even her favorite sandwich. Even her favorite sandwich. Favorite sandwich is a preference taken. Is a preference. Not really taken, but yeah. Copied from Moses. Favorite mustard sandwich. Mustard sandwich is a preference copied from Moses. These masks remind me of a certain kind. It would be a theater mask that you're talking about, right? You know, those expressive masks. The closest thing I could compare it with would be in Arknights, the Crimson Troops masks. I don't know the exact name for those masks, but I know what you're talking about, and that's how I visualized it as well, with the different colors and such. I will say though, regardless of anything, this was a good chapter. This was definitely a good chapter. Even her favorite mustard sandwich is a preference occupied from Moses. Use violence only when it's necessary. Moses had to take off one mask at a time, dealing with the consequences as she gets closer and closer to Ezra's true self. Moses had to, not has to, had to take off one mask at a time, dealing with the consequences as she gets closer and closer to Ezra's true self. It's sad that because I'm bearing regret for what happened. The last mask being a mask of sadness relates to the incident that happened with Moses in the past. The very same being referenced in the previous chapter. This chapter by Jun. Yeah, sure. I'll just call him Jun. Is it him, he, Jun? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. It's Han Hee Jun. Okay. Yeah, sure. I don't know how first and last names for Koreans work. Would that if I just call him by like Jun, would that be his last name that I'm referring him to? Or is it like Japanese where your last name is your first one? Anyways. We shall see. We shall see whenever this does. Whenever the incident. Whenever we get more details on the incident. Right. That was it. We still have to deal with unconscious. Still have to deal with unconscious. Okay. Yuria. Right. Teddy bear. Oh hey. Interesting. But yeah, that was about it. Let's read the notes again. It's a very short one, to be fair. Masks. As the distortions revolved around her, putting up masks for different people and complementing them with the relevant emotions. She didn't really truly express her emotions ever from what it looks like. Even her favorite mustard sandwich is a preference copied from Moses. Moses had to take off one mask at a time, dealing with the consequences as she gets closer and closer to Ezra's true self. The last mask being a mask of sadness relates to the incident that happened with Moses in the past, the very same being referenced in the previous chapter by Jun. We shall see whenever we get more details on the incident. Still have to deal with unconscious Yuria, because why not? Anyways. Yeah, that's about it. Let's move on to chapter 13, a teddy bear. Quite the name. Well then, let's see how the teddy bear shall go. How the teddy bear shall go. Okay, let's mute the music. And let's trudge on forward, shall we? And let me just take a little sip of water as well. Chapter 13, Teddy Bear. I want to see the same scenery as you do. There's little I know about Yuria as a person. This child and I have one thing in common, however. I do not see any distortion from Yuria. We know about that. Yuria was lying on the floor with her eyes closed. I open her eyelid to check if the pupil responds. This isn't an ordinary coma. Her self has been detached. I've seen this kind of condition before. The body is alive, but the mind is dead. Thankfully, her brain is still functional. There's still a chance. Ezra, bring me a scalpel, sterilized. I need one that can cut through bone. Roger, you're gonna perform the operation I'm thinking of, right? I'll take out the status prevention cube in that case. Yes, we are extracting her brain. Okay, straight away, alright. I pulled a pair of sterile gloves out of the inner pocket of my coat and snapped them on. Are you guys insane? A small noise tickles my ears. It's Yuria's voice. Over here! I'm here! Detective! The teddy's moving! The teddy bear strapped to Yuria's waist was wiggling its body. Ladies, can you please keep my brain inside my head and release me from this belt while you're at it? Okie dokie. What have we gotten ourselves into this time? It appears that Yuria's consciousness has carried over to that doll somehow. I fixed my sight upon the small plush dusting itself down as I smoked from my pipe. I've never experienced this kind of stuff before, although I do have a guess. I've never experienced this kind of stuff before, although I do have a guess. The teddy bear crossed his arms. Ezra looked flustered by the sight. It is the same type of object as your pipe. In other words, it belongs to me and me alone. You can tell this much, right? Which means it's something that responds to your emotions. That's right. While I was being swept away by that gross tide, it felt like the thoughts of other people were invading my head. I wanted to run from those thoughts by any means, and that's when my titties surrounded me and kept me safe. In summary, an act of a bizarre force transferred your mind from your body into that teddy bear. That looks to be the case. After all, these tools of ours resonate with our emotions. So, do you know how to come back? Nope. You're admitting it quite boldly. Isn't this exciting, rather? You're opening a new horizon. This phenomenon is worth analyzing further. We'll have a talk. We'll have a lot to talk about when we head back. Alright, so she has been... I see. Her conscience has transferred to the teddy bear. Huh. As she says, there will be much to discuss with each other now. If you can safely get back, that is. Ezra, carry Yuria's body. Putting a personal and dimensional bag could have unforeseen consequences. Right. What are those consequences, might I ask? But anyways, got it. Ezra lifted Yuria's lifeless body and took it under her arm. Please handle it carefully. Sionbai. Yep, yep. Yuria, would you like to get inside a pocket? Please put me on your shoulder, Detective Moses. I want to see the same scenery as you do. I put my hand to my forehead. She seems to be doing a lot of putting her hand to the forehead. And whiffed my pipe. Ah, who could have known that I'd be doing something like this in my life? I bent down to pick up the teddy bear and placed it on my left shoulder. Oh my gosh, Detective, that looks so good on you! Ezra hopped in excitement. That won't help heal her wounds. Since both of you are safe and sound now, albeit in different forms, let's figure out how to escape this underground warehouse. Got it. Understood. It'll take some time to get used to someone speaking right in my ear. Knowing where the river of distortions disappeared to would provide a crucial clue for the way out. There's no exit or drain to be found in this white room. I carefully felt around the wall and knocked on it. The wall seems to be made of the material that feels like glass panes used in laboratories. Figures. Hey, I know you're watching us from behind that wall, pal. I believe it's time you explain what's going on here. Okay. Clap, clap, clap. 3 claps. I hear someone clapping. Detective, behind you! Ezra shouted. The wall turns translucent, revealing a dark silhouette standing behind it. Excellent, Moses. You managed to reach this place in one piece, and you ultimately drove us into this corner. You are a capable person, I will admit. You even saved your colleagues and kept yourself alive on top of that. Thanks to you, our company has effectively gone bankrupt. What is a produce company in the back streets doing, meddling with creatures? Was it a secret weapons supplier in disguise? It's a humble company with dreams, that's all. Young Produce Corporation was an ambitious firm that aimed to become a wing. It's true that there's a vacant spot in the ranks of the wings ever since L Corp in the South fell. That's still a huge dream to have, I must say. Yuria pointed out. Mm-hmm. So there's already people trying to take the place of L Corp, huh? One should dream big, as they say. Through a remarkably difficult and taxing process, we acquired leads on Loeb Corp's singularity, after paying a great price. About Enkephalin, the so-called eco-friendly energy. Enkephalin? Distortion and energy, a combination I couldn't have possibly imagined. And they mentioned Lobotomy Corporation, a former wing, out of the blue. What is this person talking about? I'm sure you have many things you'd like to know. Now, let me do you a favor and answer one question of yours, whatever it may be. It's the prize for making it here alive, and a reward for leading our company to ruin. Hmm. My head is pounding. My body about to crumble, my broken ribs ache, my burnt hand stings, my left cheek is freezing. The blood leaking from my chest is losing warmth. So many things happened to us today. Ezra stands next to me, carrying Yuria's body. She seemed to be barely holding on to her consciousness. She's bled so badly that a puddle of blood was forming beneath her feet. Usually I would have asked who they were, or where they brought that odd box from, and what exactly has happened in this company, however. I don't have time for any more of your horse shit and conspiracies. All I want is to leave this place and rest. I'm not interested in anything else right now. Are you sure you're going to be okay with that? Opportunities like this won't come often. I am, I answered as I puffed smoke from the pipe. That's a shame, but if you insist. The walls of the white room split apart to reveal an elevator. You can use the lift back there. There's no tricks or traps placed there to harm you, so fret not. If killing you all was our goal, you would have been dead meat far before you could get here. I can't be bothered to tell if they're speaking the truth. Let's go, Ezra. Yes, Chief. We took the elevator. This hellish day is coming to an end at last. I want to get back to my home immediately, get treated and lie down. I'm sure Ezra shares my sentiment. I have many things to discuss with Yuria. I imagine there will be a ton of things to clear up once we head back. The elevator's doors are closing. The silhouetted person muttered in the back. I've lost. Are they talking to themselves? Yuri. Who's that person talking to? DS. Huh? I've lost you. As soon as I hear that word, my eyes open wide. Blood and rage. DS? Rushed to my head. I must ask that bastard what they meant when they spoke that word. The doors aren't completely shut yet. My body acts before rationality could have a say. I sprang for them. Detective Moses, what's wrong? Yuria jumped down from my shoulder. Right as Yuria landed on the floor, Ezra struck in my way and harshly blocked me as if she were preparing for this, and she struck me on the back of my neck. Sorry, Detective. We've got to live first. I fainted, collapsing into Ezra's embrace. Okay, interesting. Moses' trigger word, Dias. Okay. Dias. Sure, why not? What do we learn in this one? Let's enable the thingy again. 13th July, huh? Okay. I want to see the same scenery as you do. That closes this arc. Well then, it's a good arc. Probably the best arc so far. I mean, we didn't really experience much, to be fair. But still, the singular chapter that I really like the most, it has to be the school chapter. The school distortion chapter. Because it really just highlights some of the fundamental flaws of the education systems. In a lot of places in the world, let's just say. So, chapter 13, Teddy Bear. I guess that was meant to be literal in that sense. In this sense. Hey, chapter 13. Okay. Yuria almost had a brain extraction surgery performed on her body. Yuria almost had a brain extraction surgery performed on her body by Moses. Before it could start, she makes her presence known inside the teddy bear by her belt. Teddy bear on her belt by her belt. Yeah, sure. Okay. In the stream of people, the Distortion was trying to forcefully invade the mind. Invade. No, Moses, don't turn me into a marketable fleshy. The Distortion was trying to forcefully invade what it's called now? People's minds. Yuria, out of a desire of running away, felt embraced by her teddy bears. Raised by her teddy bears, which supposedly made her consciousness end up in a teddy bear. That's the theory we're going with for now. Okay. Are you guys insane? Interesting highlight. Interesting highlight of how the teddy bear and Moses' smoke pipe are the same kind of object. It responds to its owner's emotions. That's all right. On that one. We don't know who the fuck the dark silhouette is, but sure. There's some plot details here that I do want to note down, which would be Wells. The wall turns translucent, revealing a dark silhouette standing behind it. While there was no exit, the back wall of the basement flow. Had somebody behind it observing the trio. Okay. Coming away. In Keflin. I mean, producing energy from distortions. Yeah, it's a downgrade from producing energy from what's it called, abnormalities, because abnormalities don't exactly die. So that it's basically a really, really, really long-term what's it called, source of energy. But I'm not sure about said distortions though. And Keflin did get processed as well, if I remember, in Lobcorp. Alright. So I am theorizing that from the hints we got in this chapter, this back streets produce company was farming in Keflin in Keflin okay, the spelling's correct. In Keflin from distortions, aiming for the spot, of the fallen, semi-recently fallen wing Elko. Alrighty. They try to get back to the elevator. There is an elevator. Elevator attached to the room that the trio takes in order to go back home. But just before the doors of the elevator could close, the person mentions Diaz. This ends up triggering something in Moses for her to rush forward towards this mysterious person. This ends up triggering something in Moses. But before she could, but before she could, Ezra knocks her out. Yeah. Knocks her out. Cold. Ezra knocks her out cold. Alright, that's chapter 13. Let me just read back my notes and see if I'm not missing anything. Yuria almost had a brain extraction surgery performed on her body by Moses. Before it could start, she makes her presence known inside the teddy bear by her belt. By her body's belt. In the stream of people, the Distortion was trying to forcibly invade people's minds. Yuria, out of a desire of running away, felt embraced by her teddy bears, which supposedly made her consciousness end up in a teddy bear. Interesting highlight of how the teddy bear and the Moses' smoke pipe are the same kind of object. It responds to its owner's emotions. While there was no exit, the back wall of the basement floor had somebody behind it observing the trio. I'm theorizing that from the hints we got in the chapter, this Bacteria's produce company was farming in Kevlin from Distortions, aiming for the spot of semi-recently fallen wing L Corp as an energy company. Corp in heavy quotations, of course. There's an elevator attached to the room that the trio take in order to go back home, but just before the doors of the elevator could close, the person mentions DS. This ends up triggering something in Moses for her to rush forward towards this mysterious person, but before she could, Ezra knocks her out cold, and that is it for this arc. Alrighty. Let's move on to chapter 14, shall we? Psycho moment. Interesting name, let's just say. Anyways, I'll be right back, guys. Just give me a few more minutes. If you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton, and I really appreciate all the support I can get. Thank you very much. Be right back. Hey, not gonna lie. I'm thinking of kind of ending the stream here. Oh man. Cause as much as I would like to continue reading and doing this, I have realized it from the previous stream, this is not going to be going good. Like, have a positive impact on this cold on my throat. So, I'm thinking of doing one arc at a time, or like maybe, I don't know. I could say, how many chapters did I cover today? That would be 5 chapters, eh? 5 chapters in almost 3.5 hours. I mean, 3 hours and 20 minutes. I mean, how many streams is that gonna take me? I mean, still, hey, I'm willing to do more streams like this. I don't. It frees up a bit of my time before I go to sleep to do something else, so I don't exactly mind. Let's just say, but question: should I read this one? Like, I can. I think it would be better to do like 6 chapters a day at least. I mean, a stream at least, instead of only just doing 5. Anyways, I would say that the next arc would be good to finish if you want to get back into Limbus somewhat soon. Oh boy. Oh boy. I mean, I can just be stacking modules and you can get like, I don't know, 6 more streams of this out of me. But I feel like it would just be a waning interest for some people. They don't really mind per se, because I feel like at the end of the year I can take a bit of a break. And I can focus on making some, and I can focus on doing some other stuff if I really want to, but it would, I think logically it would make sense to be getting back to Limbus and Canto 7 sometime soon. Maybe in 2 weeks. I don't know. If I decide to just only do flipping. Oh man. Distortion detective streams. Anyways, okay, you know what? I'll read this chapter. I'll read 6 chapters. I think that would be good. We'll go through 6 chapters on stream minimum, and if I feel like I can do more, if my throat can also handle it, then sure, I'll get to go and do more. But anyways, let us move on, shall we? Where is it? Here it is. Mute this. Chapter 14. Psycho Moment. Also, I should probably... What's it called? Yeah, here it is. I should probably change the title of the stream now that I think about it. Yeah, not to chapter 18, but to chapter 14 it's gonna be. Save it. And we should be good to go now. Chapter 14, Psycho Moment. Yuria, now that I'm going to sincerely and thoroughly exploit you from this moment onward. Well then, quite the statement to start this off with. You shouldn't have stopped me. I snapped at Ezra with my pipe in my mouth. The two of us are facing each other, sitting at the table of our office. But there was no reason to risk your life for info about that person, Detective. You'll be leaving to see her in 2 weeks anyway. DS? It's a female? Okay. Ezra yelled at me in an emotional voice, as if she was about to break into tears. No use lamenting over a missed opportunity. My hand made its way up to my forehead. I face palmed. I breathed out a chain of smoke. Okay, I just remember the word. I like how I find it funny how Kim Ji Hoon, or I don't know, maybe the translation team, is writing it. My hand made its way up to my forehead, or I put my hand on my forehead, instead of just saying I face palmed. Ah, it's a little funny, let's just say. And breathed out a chain of smoke. Now, don't lose your cool over it, ladies. It's fortunate enough that we escaped that hellish company alive. After wrapping bandages around my injuries, Yuria climbed down to the table to calm us down. To calm us. Detective Moses, your wounds have all bandaged up. And don't forget to take this HP tablet before going to bed tonight. The teddy bear places a pill in front of me. And here's yours, Sonbe. Yuria waddled across the table and put one in front of Ezra as well. I mean, we did get to see her design. She's cute. Yuria's cute. Now in her teddy form, she's cuter. Thanks. Ezra dropped her head. I suppose I should change the topic. Yuria, why don't you tell me what happened with your body? Okay, well, I guess it's time to talk about that. Much like your smoking pipe, this plushy doll is an object that responds to emotions. I call these instruments psychomoment. Psychoment, not psychomoment, it's psychoment. Alright, weird name, sure. Equipment that's powered by the soul, huh? That's the gist of it. I know it's silly that a workshop meister is talking about souls and spirituality when my job is all about technology, but those are the facts. After seeing you battle that monstrous giant in the underground warehouse of Taeyang Produce Co., and having myself transferred to these teddy bears psycho moment, I have become sure of this. What was the ribbon you tied to my smoking pipe? I never created flaming birds with my pipe before. Yeah, that's an experimental work of mine. I tried decorating your psycho moment a little. Simply put, psycho moment holds more potential than any other piece of equipment that has existed up to now. Can you believe that someone could manifest personalized gear just by having a strong determination of feeling? Ego gear? If Psycho Moment became more accessible to the city's denizens, it would shift the ecology of the city and its workshops. I'm focusing on enhancing the Psycho Moment by sculpting and decorating them. One type of Psycho Moment are tools or objects materialized from emotions that can be directly used, such as your smoking pipe. Another type is remote controlled Psycho Moments, such as mine. Then again, I've only seen 5 Psycho Moments so far, since I've gotten to see only a few. Much of it is still a mystery to me. Alright, here we get the explanation. So she calls it Psycho Moment. Would that include... Because that sounds similar to Ego Gear. I mean, but the egos are... I mean, it doesn't specify if it positively has to be a non-distorted or not an abnormality human. Because I feel like the ego you do farm in Lobotomy Corporation can, by technicality, be classified under Psycho Moment simply because of the fact of the definition we know of right now. Yeah, these characters have no details on ego or abnormalities. True, they only know about distortions. So I feel like it's a classification, a work in progress classification for basically ego gears, ego gifts, and now this. You mean you've seen others with it? Yes, but yours was by far the most impressive. They're making their own names for things as they go. Yep. But yours was by far the most impressive psycho moment I've seen, if I'm being honest. That red cylinder you summoned in this underground warehouse, it could erase space itself. I'd never seen such a powerful psycho moment before. I knew I chose the right person. I gently close my eyes and recall the memories of that event. You can't see what you call the distortion in me, can you, detective? I nodded in acknowledgement. According to my theory, psycho moment is the distortion physically removed from a person. That's why the distortion can be seen in people who are a psycho moment like you and me. Okay. Well then. So they're theorizing that these gears are basically distortions physically manifested away from the person. I mean, okay. Now that's an interesting question because all we have seen in Limbus is whenever somebody gets a special equipment when distorting, it reverts back when we solve the distortion in the heart, right? Or we defeat something or whatever else we do. So it doesn't exactly stay. It's only ego gear that stays, that you can manifest at your own will. But an object that permanently exists, it depends. Really depends. Because Laboratory Corporation did manage to refine the ego gears into these. But we're going to have to see how this uh, plays into other things. So I guess Psycho Moment would just be a more basically what ego gears are to abnormalities would be for distorted people. Psycho Moments. So it's a gear for your distortion, but that still says after the distortion has been removed from a person. How like you could get gear from abnormalities, but and you could use them, bind with it away from the abnormality itself. But I assume since this is a distortion thing, it is technically bound. Maybe, who knows, to one person. But if that's the case, then how are modifications being made to it by an external force? I mean, by an external source, being Yuria in this case. Many questions, not many answers. Technically, we do have a very curious examples of it in Limbus. I guess I guess I will know later on. Makes sense. It's my turn now. How did you get your hands on that smoke pipe, Detective Moses? Yuri asked, crossing her arms. Do you really wish to know? If you try to dig into me any deeper than this, you might end up entangled forever. Isn't that right, Ezra? Ezra gave a silent agreement. I swore to devote my whole life to Psycho Moment. Your whole life? Okay. I took a smoky breath. I happened to be wondering the same thing as you, why the smoking pipe ended up in my hand. How come I know how to use this damn thing? The memories are scattered into pieces and the emotions are in a muddle. And I breathed out. That's why I'm chasing after the distortion. We're going to leave soon to find out that truth. I'll go on a trip that I won't ever come back from. So you really don't know yourself. Yuria spoke in a disappointed tone. I want to know it more desperately than anyone. The cursed phenomenon and this damned pipe have made me suffer too many sacrifices. Yuria, know that I'm going to sincerely and thoroughly exploit you from this moment onward. You're more than welcome to if it means I can learn more about your psycho moment and the emotions that form it. Please use me to your heart's content. Yuri extended her plush arm for a handshake. I couldn't help but give a chuckle as I held the teddy bear's little hand and shook it gently. Okay, so that's interesting. So she doesn't know how she got hit. The truth will be revealed for the day she went crazy and probably manifested this psycho moment. Or Gear herself. The memories are scattered into pieces, the emotions are in a muddle. And only the supposed June knows about what happened. Well, then, I suppose it's time to hit the proverbial hay. Tomorrow will be another day. Tomorrow will be another day. I nudged the chair backwards and stood up. Remember to take your HP bullet, Detective Moses. I will. Ezra, are you going to stay up for a while longer? Yeah, I want to talk with Yuria for a bit. All right, I should give the youth some alone time together after all. I'll go to bed first then. Ezra lightly nodded at me. Good night, Detective. Translation notes: the neologism psycho moment is intended to reflect the compound word created by the author, Shinbi. The English translation combines the prefix psycho, taken from ancient Greek, to denote the relation to the soul or mind, and the suffix meant to indicate that it is an instrument, equipment. The original Korean leans a bit more towards the soul and spirit connotation rather than the mind, but can mean either. Alrighty. Some good translation notes here as well. Hey, yeah, it was a short one. It was pretty much a short one. Alrighty, time to take notes then. Alright, what did we learn in this chapter? Kim Ji-hoon loves to give us words that were never heard of from probably the 1600s and 1800s. I see. The two of us are facing each other sitting at the table of our office. You will learn about psycho moments, about basically psycho moment being a work in progress terms for equipment manifested from strong emotions and wills, that just sounds like ego gear, to be fair, but for distortions. We get this entire explanation. And according to her theory, psycho moment is a distortion physically removed from the person. Now, Moses herself does not know why she has the pipe. She's trying to search for the memories and the truth as well. And yeah, she only remembers most of the sacrifices that she's made because of distortions and the pipe. Anyways, yeah, it was a relatively short one. A good explanation chapter, and I'd say a good stopping point to stop the stream at a little later on. Where is it? Is it? Okay. We dive into dive into the term or on some examples of it, more specifically ones we have already seen. Oh, I would actually like that, yes. Would that be the... Hold on. I just had a sudden example pop into my mind. Would a psycho moments example be the sword of Claim Thy Bones? That Hatted Kim had? I don't know. Seems likely. That's like the first example that comes into my mind, but I don't know about others. Not quite. Okay. Into the term for... We dive into the let's just say explanation, to be fair. Explanation. Yeah. Explanation for psycho moments. Explanation for psycho moments, which are basically manifestations of gear. Come on now. Which are basically manifestations of gear for the distorted. Manifestation of ego gear. When it's Captain Ahab in both a pre and post battle looks in the final fight. I thought she awakened the ego. The manifestations of into the explanation for psychomens, which are basically manifestations of gear by strong emotions or, well, which technically puts it in, which technically makes it so ego gear and ego gifts would come under it. Ego gears and ego gifts would come under it. This is where the earlier point we brought up is needed. They have a name for it with their own working theories. True. This is more so just food for thought in the theorizing department, and the official confirmations that we get in Limbus would be the trail we should be following. Yeah, fair enough. Gifts would come under it. As it doesn't matter. Make a distinction. What is exactly manifesting it? Was there even interesting thing to note that Yuria was able to modify, because I think the more interesting thing I find about this is Yuria was able to. Technically, Yuria would have been a pioneer in discovering the definitions in ego. Ah, gotcha. An interesting thing to note, Yuria was able to modify the Moses's psycho ment. I don't recall an instance of that in Limbus Company. Don't recall an instance of that. In Leviathan or Limbus Company. Though there is the case of, as for that is far more in line with what we see from Moses and Yuria. What do we see from Moses and Yuria? We have Yoshu. Oh, her sword. Right, her sword is interesting. We don't know much about her sword still. Was able to modify Moses' psychoment. I don't recall an instance of that in Leviathan or Limbus Company, though there is the case of Lobotomy Corporation. To me, corporation modifying, refining ego gears in the ego gears. Need to know more about this to draw any sort of conclusions other than maybe it's modifiable by external sources. Okay. Interesting stuff all around. The type is remote control psycho moments such as mine. Then again, I've only seen 5 psycho moments. So. You mean you've seen others with it? Psychoment in context of distortions according to Yuria at this point in time psycho moment in context in context of distortions according to Yuria at this point in time. At this point in time entails that psycho moment again, psychoment, not psycho moment. Why am I saying moment again and again? It's psychoment is the distortion physically removed from a person. Now, this doesn't really... I do still have a question. Okay. That's why the distortion can be seen in people who own a psycho moment like you and me. Which explains... This explains... Yeah, this explains distortions cannot be seen in people who have a psychoment. It'll be interesting reading all this log after finishing this. Oh, you mean all the notes? This is gonna take me like, I don't know, 40 minutes or like an hour to read. Just the notes. If I just go, distortions cannot be seen in people who have a psycho moment. I do wonder if... I mean, if you really want to be Limbus brain rotted, then sure, you can call this my Dante's notes. I'm putting down my understanding of the Limbus world into notes. I do wonder if people who have already distorted can distort again. All the prerequisite for distorting is really just having all your beliefs and worldview being crushed completely. This still leaves room for a person to go through this experience multiple times. Though we have not seen an instance of this occurring yet. That is one thing I'm wondering. Okay, your ego are basically your ideals, worldview, beliefs manifested. Alright, sure. But for distortions, all we've known so far is to have your beliefs and worldview completely crushed. Well, what says... It doesn't really say that it can't happen again, so my question is, can people distort? Like, they distort, turn back to normal, and then they distort again. Of course, after you've come out of a distortion because of some reason, either a change of heart, either you would be less likely to distort because it would just simply be less likely that your ideals, beliefs, and worldview would get crushed for a second time. But less likely does not mean it would not happen. So I'm curious to see an example of can this continue, or is it a one and done deal? I feel like it's not a one and done deal from what we know so far. And actually, because of this question, I just related it to Canto 10. Maybe, because I know what happens in the book, I know the general plot of what happens in Morsol's book, right? Morso's book. Okay, if I did hear about the theory that he may have distorted in the past. I'm not going to mention why some people were theorizing that, but if he does distort in Canto 10, whatever the reason may be, that would answer this question. It's going to be interesting, man, Canto 10. I know we have Canto 9 coming up, but it's going to be very interesting. AK collab? I mean, he did say about, yeah, Carmen being the sun, or something along those lines. That's all I remember. So there are already hints for it as well. There's more to its sunshine than its warmth. Almost like he experienced it himself. That's the implication. But still, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Now we have a full trio. Yeah. Yeah. The last point was Moses does not remember how she got the smoke pipe and what exactly happened in her past. In her words, the memories. Yeah, let me just copy this. And yeah, the logical extension of the question of this question would be: if you distort again, do you get another psychoment, or just does your psychoment currently drastically change? I don't know. Who knows? The memories are scattered into pieces and the emotions are in a muddle. We finally have the Distortion Detective trio formed. We shall see where their later adventures, where their future adventures, adventures lead us. Right, that should be it. I'll just go to his chapter 15, just note down its name, and then come in here. Westpac Crabro. Westpac Crabro. Anyways, thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton, and I really appreciate all the support I can get. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button. And for all the Ward watchers that couldn't catch it live, I know I messed up my own jingle. Ignore that. There is going to be the comment section down below to share out all your thoughts and misgivings, or anything else you may have, or any theories you may want to share. I would very much love to hear them. But please, no spoilers. Anyways, see you in the next one. Probably another Distortion Detective stream. Probably the last one, if I can fit an entire arc into it, because I do want to get back into Limbus, Canto 7. But yes. See you in the next one. Good night.